Hi, this is Anna, and this is Check It at the Round Table, where we discuss movies, books, music, and stuff. Today we are discussing Tonhon Chonlatee Episode 4. This episode basically opens with Chonlatee's mom coming to visit him at the university, and I really just love his mom. I'm just going to give another shout out to her because she is a really cool person. I mean, she just takes everything in stride. It's like there's this kid that's coming up and trying to flirt with Chonlatee, and she's like, "You're not flirting with my son right now. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're going. I am here with my son right now, and I'm going to have a much better day with my son, and so is he, if you leave us alone." And so she basically takes her son and Ping, his friend, and marches off and leaves the other kid in the dust. While they're at the university, Chonlatee takes them to go get a pedicure or get their nails done by the girl who he met at the place that was not really a massage center. So anyway, he kind of takes them over, and that girl actually looks at his mom and says, "Your son is a very kind person, and I just want to tell you that he really is a really neat person." And she's like, "Of course, he is my son. I knew this all along." And I love his mom's absolutely gregarious and self-assured nature. In many ways, I think it's interesting that Chonlatee, who is not that way at all, ends up, he lived with his mom who is very gregarious, and then he ends up with Tonhon, who, again, is a very gregarious, self-assured person. This episode, Tonhon decides to take Chonlatee to go to the gym so he can exercise and get big muscles. And I'm going, Chonlatee could exercise from now till kingdom come, and I really don't think he's going to ever be, the muscle building type. But, we all have delusions, and Tonhon's just trying to, help him be more manly, so hopefully people won't be bugging him as much. As this episode progresses, Chonlatee realizes he forgot something at home one day, his cell phone, so he heads back home during school hours, and the other two guys who room with him and Tonhon are there kind of having a little time to themselves again, and Chonlatee comes in, and the one guy says, "Can you get me a glass of water, sweetheart," or something. And Chonlatee's going, "Well, this is kind of weird, but I will get him a glass of water." And he takes a glass of water over, and the guy attacks him. Nothing really inappropriate happens, except they have this little tussle. And then the other guy, who the one guy thought was bringing him his water, comes over and goes, "What exactly are you doing, and who are you fighting on the couch?" And then the two of them look at each other and go, "Oh no, we kind of messed this up because we've been putting on this charade that we aren't a couple for like literally 3 years." And I'm going, Tonhon must be like the densest person on the bloody universe to have not figured this out before now. And anyway, Chonlatee's sitting there, and he's going, "They're a couple, and I guess now I figured that one out." And they kind of scare him a little bit because they're like, "You can't tell Tonhon." And, then they finally get it out of him during that whole conversation. But they're basically pinning him and kind of tickling him, and they're not doing anything inappropriate. They're just being wienerheads. I don't know how else to explain it, and that's not a bad word. I'm from the Midwest, and in America, in the Midwest, that is a perfectly valid word that just means someone's being silly. So anyway, I want to explain that to all listeners who are not from the Midwest. So Tonhon, or Chonlatee, is sitting there, and he's talking to the other two guys, and he says, "I've liked Tonhon since I was a kid, but don't tell Tonhon." And then they have this conference with the two other guys who are roommates, which I'm sorry, I cannot remember their names right now, and their supposed girlfriend and Chonlatee kind of devising, how are we going to, make sure that Tonhon and Chonlatee do end up together eventually. And that is kind of a funny conference. And so anyway, then Tonhon and Chonlatee are setting out on their porch one day, and Tonhon wants Chonlatee's mom, who is Aunt Nam, I think is her name, to come to his dad's birthday party. And one of the main reasons that everyone thinks that this is not going to work out between Tonhon and Chonlatee is because Tonhon's dad is this really kind of annoying parent. And, I've met several parents who are like him in my life, and he's one of those that you sit there and go, when you are a parent, you never want to be like them. And it has nothing to do with, his homophobia, which is a big problem for him, or his, just overbearing nature in general, which is also a big problem for him. But anyway, the backstory a little bit on Tonhon's dad is Tonhon has an older sister who got married to a man, and they do not have a child yet. And the dad is constantly pestering his daughter and son-in-law to have children, have children, have children. I need an heir. It's not about having the grandkids. It's more about something to check off on the list of things. And I'm like, no one, number one, wants to be reminded to have children. And number two, it really has none of your business, no matter what. I mean, no offense. And so since his daughter and son are not having children, our son-in-law are not having children, he is now turning to Tonhon, who is in school. He's a senior now, I believe, so he's about 21 or thereabouts. I'm not good with ages, and I don't know how the Thai college university works, but that is my guess on the age bracket we're working with here. And he's like, I want Tonhon to get married quickly so that I can have a grandchild. And so he's constantly pressuring Tonhon to get married, to have a grandchild. And so Tonhon has all that. The other thing is Tonhon grew up in a home where homophobia ran rampant through the streets, as they say. So it was like, that was a huge problem there as well. So between both those things, Tonhon is has a lot of pressure on him to behave in a certain way, to live a certain life, etc. And that is one reason why his two friends, who have been a couple for literally 3 years and have been together for 3 years while they've been a couple, have not told Tonhon that they are a couple, because they are worried that it could, number one, sever their friendship, and number two, I think there's a part of them that also knows that they need to be there for Tonhon because he really doesn't have anybody else to be there for him, since his folks are kind of high maintenance. I mean, I really don't have anything terrible to say about his mom, except she just goes along with his dad, which in my opinion makes her just as bad. So anyway, and no offense, but it really isn't a parent's job to sit there and tell their child at 21 what to do with their love life or their, whatever life that way. I mean, no offense. I'm going, it really isn't their job at any age, but, especially 21. I mean, no offense. I'm just going, they're of age. They can do what they want. Hopefully they make the right decisions, but if not, you know what? It's still their decisions. And there's a little digression, but still. So anyway, Tonhon is inviting Chonlatee's mom, Aunt Nam, to come to the birthday party. And she tells Chonlatee she's not coming. And then she tells Tonhon that she is, but he can't tell Chonlatee. And I love how the mom comes to the birthday party. Who comes to the birthday party are the other two roommates with the girlfriend that they share, who's not really their girlfriend. And there's a very lengthy kind of quixotic discussion between the dad, that girlfriend, and the two guys who pretend to be vying for her affections and who she pretends to be trying to decide between the two. And it's such a hard choice, which is absolutely hilarious. And then there's Tonhon and Chonlatee. Then you have a cabaret musical with Chonlatee's mom, a couple of other background dancers, which I'm really not sure what they were doing there because it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but maybe it was like a cabaret show. Anyway, so you've got the background dancers and you have his mom performing her musical number in this absolutely amazing kind of kimono dress. And I love how she makes her intro. It's like Megamind. It's all about presentation. And so anyway, she has her little song that she sings, which the dad absolutely loves, which is kind of comical because the background dancers are both ladyboys. And you're sitting there going, why would he not have a trouble with ladyboys if he's this homophobic guy? So anyway, but he doesn't seem to have trouble with that. But then he gets up on the stage and in front of everyone at his work, everyone in his family, tells them all that, my daughter has not borne me an heir, and my son now is available. If anyone wants to come marry him, please step up in line, and, whoever is next in the queue gets him, as long as you're a girl and can bear a child. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just me being born in the 21st century, but aside from the fact that that is really like the worst intro you could possibly make. And, poor Tonhon sitting there, and he's trying to handle that, being up on the stage with his dad at his dad's birthday party with all the business guests, all the family guests. And he's just trying to sit there and try to deal with that in an appropriate manner, which isn't going very well. But, I think he did do his best there. He's just like, I really can't believe my dad is doing this in front of all his business colleagues, in front of my sister and her husband, in front of my mom, in front of all these guests, in front of family, in front of friends. It's like really the most inappropriate kind of conversation you could have. And so he goes home with Chonlatee and with his two roommates, and they drop off the fake girlfriend. And he basically sits there that night, and he's just kind of shell-shocked from that whole moment. And then he kind of gives Chonlatee a hug, and he says, I'm really glad I have you as a friend. I'm really glad, I don't have a girlfriend right now, but I don't need a girlfriend right now because I have my friends and my family to support me. Some of my family to support me. Actually, not much, but I think his mom tries. His sister is kind of wrapped up in her own life. So, anyway, he's got his two roommates who he's known for 3 years. He's got Chonlatee, who he's known literally since they were kids. And he's got Chonlatee's mom, who in many ways I think cares about him with better care than his own parents, simply because she doesn't have a hidden agenda. I mean, she's like, Chonlatee might end up with this kid, Chonlatee might not, but either way, he's just Tonhon, who I've known my whole life. So moving on, or since he was born, basically. So anyway, that is my review of episode 4 of Tonhon Chonlatee. I do like this series mainly because I try to watch something that's a little comedic like once a month. And this was kind of my little comedic since I'd already finished My Engineer. So gotta wait till My Engineer 2 comes out, which I'm really looking forward to and very impatient for. But not going to bring that up any further. So this was my kind of comedic one that I'm watching right now. I would not watch this with children just because it does have topics that I wouldn't discuss with kids. And I probably won't watch this again unless it kind of turns itself around. And, it could get a lot better as the final episodes come out. I really don't know. But with what we've got right now, I'm going, it's kind of like Why Are You? I really liked Tudor. I really liked Fighter. I didn't like everything that was in that show, and I really didn't like Science On, and so that's not one that I'm probably ever going to rewatch again. And Tonhon Chonlatee is kind of like that. I mean, I am enjoying it as a viewing, but will I watch it again? Probably not. I'd probably give the series so far a 5 out of 10, which, isn't that high of a rating. And that is my review of Tonhon Chonlatee episode 4. Check it at the round table. Bye.